Chapter 1. To love the first day of every month, and June is always the best of them all. It's the beginning of summer, which means new tenants, many of them single women, move into the apartment complex I call home. The main reason I chose this location was the tenants are predominantly young, single professionals or students. This year, to make it even better, my single male neighbors moved out, which means less competition for the ladies. I have a little less than 2 years left on my self-imposed deadline. Once I hit 30, I will settle down, get married, and start a family. Until then, I'm going to party hard and date as many women as I can. I finished work for the day and just piddled around in the kitchen listening for signs of movement in the hallway or next door. Soon my patience paid off when I heard the sounds of furniture being lugged around. I decided to head down to the pool for my afternoon swim, hoping to run into my new neighbor. I timed it so that when I heard movement in the hall, I walked out of my apartment door. When I stepped out, I was happy to see movers, which means my new neighbors probably aren't men. To my satisfaction, a beautiful young woman brought up the rear wheeling along a cart full of boxes. She was smoking hot, a beautiful brunette, with her hair tied back in a ponytail. She was wearing a sports bra and yoga pants, showing off a nice slim body along with a firm, flat stomach, my Achilles heel. Please be single, I thought to myself. Hey, are you my new neighbor? She looked at me and gave me a $1 million smile. Yes, hi, I'm Tina. I stopped and shook her hand, happy to notice there was no wedding ring on her finger when she rested her left arm on the cart. Hi, I'm Carson. Nice to meet you. You as well. Looks like you have a team moving you in. I only have them for another hour. They're just moving in the heavy stuff for me. Well, I was just heading down to the pool for a swim, but if you need some help, I'm free for a while. I would really owe you if you would be willing. There are a ton of boxes I have to move by myself. By herself? That's odd since it's a 2-bedroom apartment. Maybe she's using the other bedroom as an office like I am. Lead the way. I helped her carry up a few loads of boxes, making small talk as we went. I quickly found out that as hot as she is, she has a great personality as well. The movers left as soon as the furniture was all in the respective rooms. We were in the U-Haul loading up another round of boxes when I asked the important question. So, do you have a roommate that's going to be joining you? No, the other room's for my 2 little girls. Girls? Yeah, my 2 daughters, Emily and Lily. My hopes were dashed. A single mother is moving in next to me. I decided to execute my emergency escape plan. We were halfway back to the apartment when I pulled out my phone and pretended to take a call. This is Carson. I'm just walking up my stairs. Can I call you back in about 5 minutes? Okay, thanks. I pretended to hang up.
Sorry, I have to make a work call.
As soon as we got back up to her apartment, I dumped my load of boxes and made a beeline out of there. Disaster averted. I wallowed in my misery. A beautiful woman is moving in next to me and she's a single mother. I hid in my apartment for an hour until the sounds of moving and slamming doors stopped. I resumed my trip down to the pool and started doing laps. It was a rare day when I didn't get at least 50 laps in. It was my time to just swim and not think about anything. Plus, it kept me in great shape. My foster father introduced me to swimming when I was in high school. The Hagermans took me in when I was a freshman. I lost track of how many different schools I had been in over the previous 8 years, never starting and finishing a grade in the same school. The Hagermans were different, though. They didn't host foster kids just for the monthly paycheck. They did it out of the kindness of their heart. Melvin could see right away that learning was a struggle for me. I was just so far behind all the other students from jumping from school to school and not having a parent who cared enough to help. Every night, Melvin or his wife Linda would sit at the kitchen table and help me with my homework. They were both high school teachers and loved a student who was willing to learn. It didn't take long for my grades to improve to the point where I was eligible to join school sports. Since Melvin was the swim coach, he naturally offered to teach me how to swim. That was one of the things I learned to love about the Hagermans. They never made me do anything. They always gave me a choice. I often wonder how bad my life would have turned out if they hadn't taken me in for the last 4 years of school. After finishing my 50 laps, I showered and took a little nap before it was time to head down the pub. Another reason I chose this complex, it had its own sports pub where I could drink, meet women, and not have to worry about driving home. Ah, life is good.
Tina. After Carson left, I shut the door and had a good cry. Not because I didn't care that he went from a nice, charming guy to a jerk the minute he found out I had kids. When he faked a phone call, I almost laughed in his face. No, I cried because I felt alone and trapped. I discovered that every once in a while, a good cry helps wash away the stress. I've been alone since the father of the girls left us for his home in Spain almost 6 years ago. Sure, I had my mom, but she has driven me so crazy for the last year. I swear I would have taken a job in Enid, Oklahoma if it was offered to me. I felt trapped because I can't and won't make time to find and date a man, so I'm destined to be alone until God knows when. I love my girls and can't imagine my life without them, but giving them the time they deserve makes it impossible to have a love life. I've never done anything so bold in my life. I've worked my ass off for years to support the girls and me while climbing the corporate ladder. I was shocked when the company offered me a huge promotion. The catch was I had to relocate to Denver ASAP. I didn't even hesitate. The money was fabulous, and I could get away from my mother. I loved her dearly, but the incessant harping on finding a husband was driving me absolutely nuts. So a week later, I rented an apartment site unseen. It was close to the convention center and was in a great school district. The girls were excited and upset at the same time. Excited for a new adventure, but upset at leaving their friends and grandparents and the only home they have ever known. Hilton gave me a $5,000 moving allowance. The U-Haul, car trailer, and gas cost me $1,000. The 2 movers were $300 for 2 hours. Plane tickets for me to bring the girls back chewed up the rest. I was a little scared to lose my security blanket. Mom was my de facto babysitter, my best friend, my rock. But I needed to spread my wings and fly. Hopefully I won't crash and burn. I returned the U-Haul to the closest dealership and took an Uber to the airport to catch my flight back to San Jose. After a quick turnaround, lots of hugs and tears, the girls and I made it back to Denver and our new home. The girls loved the new apartment complex. Our rooms overlooked the courtyard, which was surrounded by 10 apartment buildings. I have to say I couldn't have picked a better place for the girls. There is a swimming pool, a playground for kids, even an indoor play area for kids during the long Colorado winters that I'm not looking forward to. The girls, however, are excited at the thought of seeing snow for the first time and making a snowman. I have 2 days to get unpacked before starting my new job, but I could see the girls really wanted to start exploring their new home. Do you girls want to walk around or go swimming before we start unpacking? They both swam like fish, so I wasn't surprised when they both wanted to hit the water. We changed into our swimsuits and made our way down to the pool. I was surprised how busy it was for a Wednesday afternoon, but then again, school's out for the summer. It made me relax a little when I saw how many young children and other moms were using the pool. I found us a couple chairs by the shallow end, and of course the girls decided to be shy and not go in right away. Thankfully, another mom showed up with a boy and a girl about the same age as my girls. The boy took off screaming, looking for his friends. I could tell the mother had an outgoing personality. As soon as she sat down in the chair next to me, she started talking. Hi, are you new here? Yeah, we haven't even unpacked yet. The girls wanted to get out a little before we started, so I thought we would check out the pool. Hi girls, this is Mandy. Both my girls' eyes lit up at the possibility of making a new friend so quickly. Hi Mandy, this is Emily and Lily. Hi. The little girl was as outgoing as her mom. She took a hand from each of my girls. Come on, let's go in. Just like that, all 3 were off, jumping into the shallow end. I'm Linda. Nice to meet you. You'll love it here. Nice to meet you too. I'm Tina. Are you married? No, it's just the girls and I. Well, if you're looking, this is definitely the place. Half the guys here are single and most of them are pretty decent. I'm not sure I'll have time for dating for a while. How about you, married? Yeah, my husband is at work. I'm a stay-at-home mom. I like to come down here and relax in the afternoons. My heart jumped. A stay-at-home mom, maybe she would be willing to look in on the girls once in a while, or at least be a backup in case anything came up. Which building do you live in? She pointed across the courtyard to a building that was farthest from mine. Oh well, it was a thought. The sounds of laughter brought my attention to the pool. To my surprise, Carson was giving kids a ride on his back like a dolphin. He would swim underwater from one side of the pool to the other with a kid on his back. Once to the side, the next kid would hop on. There was a line of kids waiting for their turn on both sides of the pool. I have to admit, Carson's kinda hot. He's fairly tall, good-looking with an amazingly hard body. Too bad he's such a complete jerk. That's Carson. Yeah, he's my new next-door neighbor. He's great with kids, they all love him. That's surprising. Really, why? He was nice and charming until I told him that I had 2 little girls. When he found out about them, he couldn't run away fast enough. That's odd. Maybe a strong single mother intimidated him. I doubt it.
Chapter 2. Carson. So far, summer's starting out great, just as I hoped. I already had a date with a beautiful blonde on Friday night. By date, I mean she is coming over to my place for drinks and Netflix. The pool has been a ton of fun. I think seeing me interact with kids makes me even more attractive to women who might be having maternal instincts themselves. I don't plan on having kids anytime soon, but I don't mind practicing how to make them as much as I can. Thankfully, my 2 little neighbor kids are delightful little girls and, most importantly, quiet. I had given them several rides on Wednesday and then again Thursday. I didn't even realize they were my neighbors until I saw them with their mother. I was a little disappointed when they didn't show up on Friday afternoon, but there were several other kids to throw around and give rides to. My date Friday night went well, really well. Saturday morning before she left, we both agreed that we would do it again sometime soon. I decided to get my laps in early so I could just lounge around the pool and have some drinks. The weekend brings a whole new group of women to the pool, those who had jobs during the week and were ready to blow off some steam and show some skin. After my laps, I started to head back up to my apartment to grab a small cooler of drinks and maybe a book to pretend to read. Walking up the stairs, I met the girls and Tina. "Hey girls, I missed throwing you around yesterday." Lily, the youngest, piped right up. "Mom had to work, so we couldn't go to the pool." Immediately I understood. A single working mother keeps the kids in the apartment while she is away. Not that I really blame her too much. There are a ton of sick people out there, and she doesn't know anyone here yet. I must have had a funny look on my face that Tina took the wrong way. "I don't need your judgment." I was surprised by the venom in her voice. "I wasn't, but go ahead and think whatever you want." I didn't need any attitude from her. I went into my apartment, grabbed a cooler full of drinks and a book, and went back down. Unfortunately, one of the only lounge chairs open was only a few feet from where she had set up. Ignoring her, I took a seat and relaxed, eyeing my opportunities for the day. I was besieged by kids until I finally gave in and spent 10 minutes throwing them as fast and far as I could. They all loved it, and it was a good quick workout. When I returned to my chair, I was surprised to see Tina was packing everything up since it was only 12:30. The girls were begging to stay longer. They had already made new friends and wanted to spend some time with them. "Girls, you know I have to get ready for work." I felt bad for the girls having to be cooped up inside on such a beautiful Saturday. "Hey, Tina." She glared at me, almost daring me to insult her. "I would be happy to watch the girls while you get ready for work. You can text me 5 minutes before you leave and I will walk them up." "Why? Why what? Why do you want to watch them?" "I don't really want to, but I know they are having a good time and I hate to see them have to say goodbye to their new friends already." Immediately the girls started saying, "Please, please, please, please." "Trust me, Tina, they will never leave my sight and you can get ready for work in peace." "Okay, but so help me, if anything happens to them, you won't live to regret it." I laughed at her. "Okay, deal." I gave her my cell number and sent her on her way. The girls, of course, decided that meant I was their personal play toy and tried getting me into the water. "I can't. I have to listen for your mom to text me and tell me she's ready." They were thrilled to be able to spend more time with their friends. After 45 minutes passed, I started wondering if she wrote my number down wrong. Hell, how long does it take to get ready for work? Finally, at 1:40, she texted me she was leaving in 5 minutes. "Come on, girls, we have to go." Thankfully, they listened to me right away, happy for the extra hour they had. Within a few minutes, the girls were knocking on their door. When Tina answered, I almost forgot to say something. She was dressed business casual with her hair pulled up. I was really attracted to her the day I met her wearing yoga pants. Today I was speechless at how amazing she looked dressed up for work. I decided she had to be the most beautiful woman in the entire complex by far. Here you go, alive and unharmed. For the first time in days, she actually smiled at me. Thanks, it was a luxury getting ready in peace, and I'm sure they enjoyed it. No problem, have a good day at work. I returned to my pool chair and closed my eyes, trying to get the image of Tina out of my mind. Not many women leave me speechless, but she sure did today. I wish I could have met her before she had children. A woman like that would make me think about moving up my timetable.
Tina. Did you have fun, girls? Yeah, but Carson wouldn't come in the pool. He said he had to wait for you to text him. I see. Well, I have a snack laid out for you. Dinner's in the fridge. Lily, listen to your sister and be good. I will tuck you in when I get home. Bye, Mommy. Love you. Love you too. Even though it was hard to leave the girls home alone, I knew they would be fine. Emily is 10, going on 16, and extremely helpful with her little sister. Thankfully, they get along fine and are very well behaved. Driving the 5 minutes to the hotel, I couldn't help smiling. I was excited for day 2 of my new job. Even though I'm only 28, I have spent almost half my life working in hotels. I started in house cleaning when I was only 15 and have been in the business ever since. I was the convention service manager for Hilton in San Jose the last 2 years. Now I'm the assistant food and beverage director for the entire convention center in downtown Denver. So far, everyone's been great to me, other than the cold welcome from the human resources manager. She almost seemed to have something against me, even though I've never met her. I continued familiarizing myself with the hotel. It's massive with 3 bars, 2 restaurants, a Starbucks, as well as the convention center catering department and room service. It's a little overwhelming knowing I'm the second in command of it all. Thankfully, my new boss took me under his wing and showed me around, pointing out the employees that we can trust, and those we have to always keep an eye on. When I came home, I found both the girls in their own beds sound asleep. I had called them at 8 to make sure everything was fine and to say goodnight. They jabbered on about how much fun they were having and how they were being good. I looked out of my bedroom at the courtyard below. It looked like the pub was going full swing, and I felt a twinge of jealousy. I hadn't been out of the town in forever. Although I had never been much of a partier, I still missed adult company sometimes. I noticed a couple leaving the pub and starting walking towards our building. As they got closer, I realized it was Carson and a pretty blonde. The way they were acting, I knew exactly what was in store for them. I guess he will be happy with another notch in his bedpost. It's too bad he's such a jerk, because he is super hot and great with kids. I could tell he would be a great father, not like my ex. Watching him interact with other women, I can tell he's a player. In it to just have as much meaningless intimacy as he can. The next morning I was woken by the girls sliding into bed and snuggling up to me. I held them both tightly to me as we all fell asleep for a little longer. Sundays I always make them. French toast, and just because we are in a new apartment doesn't mean traditions should stop. We were sitting in our PJs eating our French toast when Emily's phone chimed. My motherly instincts kicked in, wondering who would be texting my young daughter on a Sunday morning. "Hand me your phone." Emily looked at me confused and handed it right over. I saw there was a message from someone named Nadia. Nadia. Did you ask her yet? Emily. No. Who's Nadia, and what are you supposed to ask me? She's my new friend. She's having an ice cream party tonight at the playground and asked if Lily and I could come. Why haven't you asked me? Because I know you have to work tonight and we can't go. I felt tears well up in my eyes. She's already making sacrifices and wasn't even going to tell me about it. I thought Sunday afternoon in the courtyard should be pretty safe. I felt confident they could handle going down there and back by themselves. I handed her the phone back. Tell her you girls will be there. Really? Yeah, you can go. They both squealed in delight. Emily's fingers started flying fast, texting her friend. Okay, girls' rules. You go straight there and come straight back as soon as it's over. You don't stop for anything or go anywhere else. Understand? Okay, Mom. Thanks. I was feeling really good about my decision until I left for work. The complex is completely no smoking, but they have a designated smoking area between the back door and the parking lot. I was walking to my car, and a really suspicious-looking guy was sitting on the table. He didn't look like one of the normal tenants. He was dressed in dirty clothes, hair all over the place, unshaven, and missing several teeth. What really got me is how he just looked at me, as if I was something he would consider buying. Off to work? I just kept walking, not even acknowledging that he even spoke to me. As soon as I closed the car door, I quickly locked it, started it up, and drove away. How did he know I was going to work? Who was he? My mind started imagining worst-case scenarios with him and the girls. What if he's just waiting for someone like them to be walking alone so he could snatch them? Or maybe he will follow them into the apartment when they return alone. By the time I got to work, I was in tears. Thankfully, Sunday afternoons at the hotel are quiet, so I went into the office and closed the door. What should I do? The girls would be crushed now if I told them they couldn't go, but the image of that guy staring at me was seared into my mind. Carson. He is such a jerk, but I have to admit he is good with kids. I hated to ask him, to be in any kind of debt to him, but I didn't think I had a choice. I grabbed my phone and shot off a quick text. Me. Hey, this is Tina. Are you busy? Thankfully, he answered right away. Carson. No, what's up? Me. Can I call you for a minute? Immediately, my phone started ringing and I saw it was him calling me. Hello? Hey, this is Carson. What's up? I was wondering if you could do me a huge favor. The girls have an ice cream party tonight at 6 on the playground. But when I was leaving for work, there was this really creepy guy hanging out at the back door. I mean, really slimy creepy. Somehow he even knew I was going to work. It just scares me having the girls walk there and back alone with him hanging around. Yeah, no problem. Give Emily my cell phone number and have her call me when they are ready. I promise you they won't leave my sight. Thanks, Carson. I really owe you for this. Immediately, I felt much better. He may be a jerk, but at least he seems to be trustworthy with kids.
Chapter 3. Carson. As soon as I hung up with Tina, I went downstairs to see if I could spot the guy she was describing. Not seeing him, I started to make a wide circle of the complex looking for anyone out of the ordinary. I didn't spot anyone, but I wasn't sure if that was a good or bad thing. I decided to stop in the office tomorrow and see if anyone else reported someone strange hanging around. I pulled out my phone. I had a date tonight at 5 that I was going to have to push back. Me. Hey, this is Carson. I can't make it to 5. I have to take my neighbor's girls to a party at the playground. I guess there's a strange guy hanging around and she has to work. Can we make it later, like 8-ish? A few minutes later, my phone chimed. My suspicion that she was selfish was confirmed. Karen. Oh no, I can't believe you're blowing me off for someone else's brats. If you can't make 5, just forget it. Me. Okay. Oh well, I could handle no intimacy for one night to make sure the girls are safe. I couldn't imagine the guilt I would have to deal with if I had said no, and then something happened to them. The girls must have been excited to go. I got a text at 5 from Emily. Emily. Hey Carson, do you think we can go down to the playground a little early? Me. How early? Emily. Like maybe now? Me. Let me ask your mom. Me. Hey Tina, the girls want to go to the playground a little early. I don't care if you don't care, but I thought I should ask you first. Tina. That's fine if you're sure you don't care. Me. Nope, not at all, thanks. Me. Okay girls, 5 minutes. I could hear the squeals of happiness through the wall. I met them in the hall where they each took a hand pulling me down to the playground, jabbering away non-stop like only young girls can. I took a spot on the bench and released them to their friends. There were several other mothers already around, and a couple of husbands. I ignored most of them, as I had no interest in a single mother, and absolutely zero interest in a married woman. I managed to take a pic of the girls talking to their friends. Their hands were going everywhere with emotion, huge smiles on their faces. I decided to send it to Tina so she would know I was keeping an eye on them. Me. Image. Me. They are having a good time. Tina. It looks like they are, thank you. A little while later, they were sitting at the picnic tables eating ice cream, and I sent her another picture. Finally, about 7:30, the party broke up and everyone headed to their own apartments. Come on, girls, let's get you home. When we got to their door, they both gave me a big hug. Thanks for taking us. It was no problem, girls. Hope you had fun. Before you shut the door, let me send your mom a picture so she knows you're in there safe and sound. I took several pictures of both of them inside their doorway. They made several poses with silly faces and their tongues hanging out. Me, images, me, safe and sound in your apartment. Tina. Aw, thanks again, you don't know how much I appreciate it. After I heard the door lock, I took a quick shower and headed down to the pub. A few of my friends said they would be there for a while watching Sunday night baseball. I hadn't eaten, and my date plan was canceled. We ate a plate of nachos, dozens of wings, and even had a few drinks. 6 a.m. tomorrow is going to suck, but I'm young and it will be worth it. While we ate, drank, and half-watched the game, I kept noticing a table of young college-aged girls making eye contact with me and smiling. Immediately after the game was over, my buddies made a beeline for their beds. I noticed 2 of the co-eds were still at their table, both still full of smiles. I walked over to their table. Hello, ladies, how are you tonight? We were starting to wonder if you were ever going to join us. Really? Are you dense like most men? Nope, which one of you is it going to be? Which one? Well, we figured you might be man enough to handle both of us. Where are we going? Your place. I soon realized I was drunker than I thought, and we all stumbled not too quietly towards my apartment. When we came up the stairs and started down the hall, I saw Tina coming down the hall from the other way. Hey, there is my pretty neighbor. We were almost to my door. Oh, she is very pretty. Think she wants to join us too? I put my key in the door. Nah, not a chance. I opened the door and we all fell inside for the night.
Tina. Just when I thought Carson may not be quite the jerk I thought, he proved that he is. What kind of idiot takes my girls to an ice cream party and then turns around and calls me pretty while he is in the arms of 2 other women? And who gets drunk and brings home 2 women on a Sunday night anyway? I made it a point afterwards to avoid him at all costs. Tuesday and Wednesday are my days off, so I decided to make it a point to have some quality family time with the girls every week. Tuesday we drove out to the national park and did some hiking on some mountain trails. The girls had lots of fun doing something new, but our legs were jelly when we got home. We decided to have a movie night, and I ordered the girls their favorite cheese pizza. Every Wednesday the pub has a kids' night. We didn't know about it last week, but this week they have been looking forward to going. We decided to spend the day at the pool and then go to the pub early in the evening. Thankfully, Carson wasn't there. I really didn't want to have to face him after his comment the other night. Of course, as we were packing up to head in for the day, he showed up. The girls were so excited to see him, they ran up and gave him a hug. He seemed happy to see them, but wouldn't even look my way, acting like he was humiliated. I didn't even acknowledge his presence. We all cleaned up and headed to the pub. Linda was walking in with her 2 kids at the same time and invited us to join them. We found a table and sent the kids to the buffet. I discovered kids' night they set up a buffet with children's favorite foods. There was pizzas, fries, hot dogs, mac and cheese, and anything else a kid would dream of. Linda and I decided to order from the menu and have some drinks. Well, how was your first week here? Pretty good. I love my new job and the girls are quickly making new friends. We went hiking for the first time yesterday. The mountains are so beautiful. Yeah, wait until it snows. The mountains look like something you would see on a postcard. We chatted back and forth while the kids all ate and laughed together. I didn't realize how much I missed hanging out with another adult in a social setting. I wasn't paying too much attention to what was going on around us until I heard one of the waitresses talking to the bartender. So, how was your hot date with Carson? He blew his chance. Immediately my ears tuned in, curious as to what Carson had done to her. What happened? We were supposed to have dinner in my apartment at 5. He texted me and said he had to babysit a couple of kids and couldn't make it until 8. I told him not to bother if he chose a couple of brats over me. Suddenly I felt guilty. Carson gave up a date to take the girls to their ice cream party. Why can't he just be a jerk all the time so it will be easier to hate him? Instead, he keeps demonstrating that he might actually be a decent guy some days. By the end of the night, I decided I had to forgive him for what he said. By his actions today, he obviously regrets what he said. He did help me out and give up a date and probably an evening of intimacy. Although by looking at her, he didn't miss out on much in my opinion. Plus, he ended up with 2 girls. Thursday, I was back to work. As much as I missed the girls, I'm really enjoying the new challenge and added responsibility. I had made a few suggestions to my new boss that he liked and implemented immediately. Talk about an ego boost. I'm the youngest assistant manager in the company, and I intend to make sure they made the right choice in promoting me. I'm going to prove my worth and hopefully make general manager by the time I'm 30. Thursday night went smooth, and I felt a sense of accomplishment as I headed home for the night, looking forward to seeing the girls in the morning. Friday found me with a cup of coffee surfing the internet while the girls played in their room. I looked at the weather forecast and felt a twinge of fear. The girls were terrified of storms, and the Denver area is forecasted to have severe thunderstorms for the next 2 nights. Unfortunately, the hotel has a major convention in town, and there's no way I can get any time off, especially since I'm new. I left for work, hoping against hope that the storms will miss us, or even hold off until I make it home. We were swamped with tons of guests packed into the hotel, all ready to eat, drink, and have a good time. I kept an eye on the radar when I could, willing the storms to stay away. Sure enough, they started forming close to sundown. I had no one else to turn to, so I texted Carson. Me. Hey, Carson. Carson. Hey, Tina. Me. Have you seen radar? Carson. Yeah. Me. I'm stuck at work, and the girls are terrified of storms. Would you mind sitting with them until they are over? Carson. On it. Me. Thanks. For the next hour, I was all over the hotel and didn't have time to check the radar. When I did, I wished I hadn't. All of Denver was covered by a huge swatch of red on the radar screen. I texted Carson to make sure everything was okay. When he didn't answer, I texted Emily. When she didn't answer, I started getting worried. The storms were violent, and I'm sure the kids were scared. I was hoping the storms were interfering with cell phone signals and nothing is wrong at home. The moment I got off work, I rushed home to my girls, hoping they weren't hysterical. I raced down the hallway and opened the door and stepped in. To my total surprise, Carson was laid back in my recliner. Emily and Lily snuggled up to him, one in each of his arms. Both had their favorite blankets, and all 3 were snoring like nothing was wrong. I stood there in shock for several minutes just watching them. This guy did more for the girls tonight than their real father ever had. Outside, a bright flash of lightning struck the courtyard, followed by thunder so loud it shook the building. Unbelievably, the girls didn't even budge. I put my hand gently on his chest since both shoulders had a sleeping head on it. Gently shaking him, I whispered, "Carson, wake up." He opened his eyes in surprise, instinctively pulling the girls closer to him. He quickly realized where he was and sat up. "Sorry, I didn't mean to fall asleep." "It's fine. Can you help me get them into bed?" I picked up Lily and he carried Emily down the hall. I decided to just put them in my bed in case the storms woke them up. I flamed red when I realized I had one of my black bras hung over the bed frame. Thankfully, he didn't seem to notice, or if he did, he ignored it. I shut the bedroom door behind us and started to thank him when he looked at his phone. "Oh, it's almost 11. Yeah, sorry, work was crazy and the storm slowed me down driving home." No, it's fine." He rushed out the front door and into his apartment. A few moments later, I heard it open and close again. Curious, I went to my window to see him running across the courtyard to the pub. Once again, I felt guilty. It's Friday night, and I'm sure he had plans that I made him late for. I decided I owed him an apology. Me. "Hey, Carson, I have a feeling I ruined your date plans once again. I'm really sorry. Let me know how I can make it up to you." Carson. "Do not worry about it. I needed a nap anyway, LOL. Me. "Okay, you don't know how much I appreciate what you did. They are usually very scared." Carson. "They were until I told them how much I loved the sound of thunder. I told them I would snuggle them up if they didn't like it." Me. "Well, thanks again. I hope the rest of your night is good. I'll try not to ruin your plans again." Carson. "If you need any help with the girls, I'll be offended if you don't ask me. I really don't mind." Me. "Okay. I'm off to bed. Good night." I quickly changed into my nightshirt and snuggled up with the girls. I was still in awe at how well they were sleeping through the ongoing storm. Surprisingly, Carson was in my thoughts as I drifted off to sleep.
Chapter 4. Carson. I can't believe I fell asleep and didn't hear my phone. I guess the girls snuggled up to me was just too relaxing. They were so cute tonight. Initially they were scared, but when I told them how much I liked thunder, they put on a brave face. It wasn't long, though, before they were asleep in my arms. Unfortunately, I was late meeting Marie in the pub and someone else had taken my spot by her side. I took a seat at the bar and ordered some drinks from Karen. She must still be pissed about blowing off our date as she took her sweet time getting it. Sitting there, I thought about my new neighbors. It had been a long time since I felt alone, but suddenly the feeling washed over me like a tidal wave. I've always loved kids and hoped to have several of my own someday. These two girls, however, are quickly getting inside my heart. I know how it feels to be home alone as a kid, so that might be why I feel so connected to them. I thought back to when I was their age. For 2 years I lived with a foster family that just kept me around for the monthly paycheck. Many nights I fell asleep in an empty house as my foster parents liked to stay out partying until the bars closed. One night when I was 9, I hid in the closet while the tornado sirens were going off during a bad storm, eventually crying myself to sleep. I was finally rescued from them when they didn't come home one night after passing out at a party. Luckily, my social worker chose that morning to show up for the annual surprise visit. When she discovered I was home alone, she called the police to have the parents arrested. After examining my sparse room, old clothes, and the dirty house, they moved me to a new family. By then the damage was done. I was always scared, way behind in school, and had become an introvert. I would suffer through my childhood years until I thankfully was sent to the Hagermans. I don't know why the girls are growing up without a father. It's really none of my business. Thankfully, they have a great mother who obviously loves them more than anything. I do know that no matter what, I won't let them sit in a closet and cry themselves to sleep when a storm rages outside, no matter what it cost me.
Tina. Work is great. I'm really loving my new job. Everyone respects and listens to me, other than the human resources manager who never has anything nice to say. The days and weeks are flying by as we have all fallen into a familiar rhythm. Carson was nice enough to sit with the girls during a few more stormy nights. He also started playing board games with them 1 or 2 nights a week. He hasn't been a jerk lately. Maybe he is starting to grow up, but I'm not going to hold my breath. The girls start school next week already. They are both nervous and excited. Thankfully, they have made quite a few friends over the summer. I will be able to walk them to the bus stop in the mornings, and they should be okay to walk home by themselves. The bus drops them within a block of the apartment building. Quickly, the first day of school came and I was nervous. Will they be bullied? Will they make more friends? Will their teachers be nice? I walked them to the bus stop with tears in my eyes, as I always do the first day of school. Okay, girls, right to the apartment when you get off the bus. Text me when you get home. Love you. Love you too, Mom. They were both off without a worry. Plenty of their friends got on the same bus at the same time, and I felt reassured that they would have a good day. When I got back to the apartment, it seemed so empty without them. I wasn't sure what I was going to do with my new free time. Suddenly, my stomach grumbled and I had the urge to make an omelet. I decided to text Carson to see if he wanted one. Me. Hey, I just sent the girls off to their first day of school. Feel like some breakfast? Carson. I'm working, so I really can't go anywhere. Me. I was just going to make omelets here. Carson. In that case, I would love one. I can always spare 15 minutes for an omelet. Me. I have mushrooms, onions, and cheese. That sounds okay? Carson. Like music to my ears. Me. Okay, give me 15 minutes. I quickly touched myself up in the bathroom before starting the omelets. I'm not sure why I was all of the sudden nervous to have breakfast with Carson. It is obvious that neither one of us has any interest in the other. 10 minutes later, he knocked on my door. Hey. I was at a good stopping point, so thought I would come on over. Need any help? You can pour me an orange juice and whatever you like. They are almost done. I was happy they turned out perfect as I put them on the table. Suddenly I realized this was the first time we had been alone together. I think he realized the same as an awkward silence hung over the table. So, what do you do for work? I'm an independent financial analyst. What's that? I follow and analyze 10 different companies. I prepare company overviews, projections, and make a recommendation if the stock is a buy or sell. How do you get paid then? Independent brokerage companies pay me a monthly fee to distribute my reports to their customers. They have to be prepared by someone like me. I also keep abreast of market trends, news, etc., so I can give daily guidance if the market is going to move one way or the other. I never knew that was even a thing. It is a very niche market. I like it. I work from home, usually done by 2 every afternoon. No weekends, no bosses, no worries. That sounds carefree. Yeah, that's how I tend to lead my life. I noticed. As soon as I said it, I regretted it. Other than the one drunken comment, he has been really good to me and the girls. It's none of my business how many women he sleeps with. I decided to change the subject. You're amazing with kids. How come you don't have any of your own? I plan on it someday. I have another 1.5 years of freedom. Then I will start a family. What do you mean, freedom? I decided I was going to have fun and party in my 20s. The plan is to work hard and save as much money as I can. When I turn 30, I will hopefully find a good wife and have some kids. That sounds pretty simple. Yeah, so far. We will see how many good women want a 30-year-old guy for a husband when the time comes. What do you consider a good woman? I clearly was making him uncomfortable with my questions. And then it dawned on me. He wants a woman who doesn't have baggage like kids or an ex-husband. I'm not sure I have a concrete definition. Now he had me curious, and as rude as it may be, I decided to ask the question that I had been asking myself since the day we met. So what's so repulsive about a single mother? He looked at me with surprise and guilt. Nothing. I didn't say anything, just looked back and raised an eyebrow. Okay, as you know, sometimes I'm not a good person. What do you mean? I'm selfish, that's why I don't want to get involved with a single mother. Selfish how? Is there anything more important to you than your girls? No. And do you think that will ever change? Probably not. That's why I'm selfish. When 2 people meet and fall in love without children, the spouse is the most important thing in the world until children come along. I want my time where I'm the most important thing in a woman's life. I sat there contemplating what he said. I kind of understood where he was coming from. I never had much of a chance to be cherished by someone, or enjoy romance. Instead, I was pregnant at 17. I get it. He looked at me with doubt and surprise. You do? Yeah, I do. I never had that myself, and I never will. So I can see where you're coming from. When you have it, I hope you cherish it, and when your kids come along, cherish them as well. We both sat there in silence, reflecting on each other's words. Finally, Carson stood up to leave and smiled. Thanks for breakfast, I enjoyed it very much. I did too. The rest of my day I felt unsatisfied. I asked Carson questions I had no right to, and now I couldn't get his answers out of my head. Thinking about it, I couldn't fault him for not wanting to get involved with a single mother and the baggage that came with it. There are still more questions I want to ask if I ever get the chance again.
Chapter 5. Carson. What a strange morning. Out of nowhere, Tina invited me over for breakfast, and the conversation quickly became very personal. After our conversation, I saw her in a new light. I sensed that although she loved the girls more than anything else in the world, she wished there was more in her life. I decided next time we were alone, if there was one, it would be my turn to ask the personal questions. After the stock market closed, I went down to the pool to get my laps in before school got out. It was almost empty, so I was able to swim in relative peace. As I swam, I thought to myself how much Tina has influenced my life. The last time I had intimacy was with those college girls the night I insulted her. The next morning I felt like such a jerk. She hadn't done anything to deserve that. I was so ashamed I couldn't even look her in the eye. After that, meaningless intimacy didn't appeal to me anymore. Even though I haven't hit my 30-year-old deadline yet, I suddenly wanted more out of life myself. After my swim, I decided to walk down to the bus stop to make sure all the kids got back to the complex safely. The idea that someone may grab the girls was suddenly a real fear for me. It was amusing to see an entire bus drop off the kids at one stop. 40 of them lived in our apartment complex alone. Thankfully, there were several other mothers and fathers there to meet them as well. The girls were surprised and happy to see me waiting for them. Carson. Hey girls, how was the first day? Good, but we have homework. Oh no, well, make sure you get it done and make your mom proud. I walked them back to the apartment. They talked my ear off the entire way. I carried Lily's heavy backpack, so she took my hand as we walked. I handed it back to her when we got to their door. Will you come in with us and do homework? No, I didn't arrange to come in today with your mom. You've been in here lots of times. Yes, but every time before your mom knew about it ahead of time. I will ask her tomorrow if I can help you with your homework after school. That gave me an idea. I ran to the store to get everything to make homemade cinnamon rolls like Linda had taught me. The next morning I was up early as always, but I made the cinnamon rolls in between spending time on the computer working. As soon as I knew the girls were off to school, I sent Tina a text. Me, hey, I made breakfast today if you're interested. Tina, sure, when? Me, it's ready whenever you want to come over. It was the first time she had been in my apartment, and she looked surprised. I kept it neat and well decorated, not like most bachelor pads I imagine. I made cinnamon rolls, if that's okay. You actually made these from scratch? Yeah, my foster mother taught me. Do they look okay? I'm impressed. They look delicious. We made a little small talk while we ate our breakfast. Finally, it was my turn to put her on the hot seat. I walked the girls home from the bus stop yesterday. They wanted me to help them with their homework, but I didn't want to go in without your permission. She seemed confused. You have been in the apartment dozens of times. Why would you need my permission? Because we had it arranged ahead of time every other time. I just felt odd going in if you didn't know I was there. I don't mind helping them with their homework if you're okay with it. No, that's fine. The girls love you and it makes me feel better knowing you're around to keep an eye on them. Good. That brings me to my next question. How would you feel about me having a key to your apartment? The reaction was just what I expected, a twinge of fear and distrust. Why exactly? Well, I would only use it in case of an emergency. With winter coming on, I just thought it might be nice to have one in case you get stuck overnight at the hotel, or if there is a fire alarm going off, or I hear them screaming. Let me think about it. Is that okay? Totally, and I won't be offended if you say no. I'm just thinking ahead in case something happens. Okay, I'll let you know. So you were in foster care? For how long? I smiled at her with a childish grin. Oh no, you made breakfast and asked the personal questions yesterday. Today I made breakfast and it's my turn to ask. Thankfully, she laughed at my humor instead of raising her guard. Okay, what do you want to know? How did you end up being a single mother? She took a deep breath and blew it out very slowly. I'm sorry, that may be a little too personal. How about instead you tell me about your job? No, it's fine. I don't mind talking about it. I met Raul when I was still in high school. He was attending Stanford. We hit it off right away and he started pushing me hard and fast from the beginning. Calling me, always wanting to go out, and then he started pushing me into having intimacy right away. At first I was enamored by him. He had an accent and was going to be a doctor. He eventually wore me down until I finally just gave in. Sure enough, Emily was conceived. She was getting a little teary. I could tell this was hard for her and started to feel guilty for asking, but she kept on. He is from Spain and was here for medical school. We moved in together after I had Emily. He never had much time for us, always saying he had to study, promising me that after he became a doctor, we would have more time together. Of course, I was young and stupid and didn't know any better. He just used me. Sure enough, my birth control failed 2 years later after I had strep throat, and along came Lily. Finally, he graduated from medical school, and I thought that we might be able to start being a real family. Instead, I came home from work one day to find him, and all his stuff gone. He left a simple note that said, "Thanks for the good times. I went home to Spain." Initially, I was crushed, but then I realized I didn't love him, and he treated us badly anyway. Wow, Tina, I'm so sorry. No, it's fine. I wouldn't trade the girls for anything. We're happy together. I didn't even bother trying to track him down. Good riddance. I didn't know what to say. I felt like I had already intruded too much. She decided to change the subject and rescue me. I gotta say, I'm impressed. These cinnamon rolls are amazing. Thanks, I think I'll make them for the girls sometime.
Tina. I woke up with a start from a love dream I was having about Carson. I was so hot I was almost sweating. What is wrong with me? I can't remember the last time I had such dreams. And why him, of all people? He is attractive. That's not the issue. But I can't see myself ever having intimacy with a man like him. I tried to shake off the effects of my dream with a hot shower, but that just seemed to make it worse. I'm spending just a little too much time with Carson, and decided not to have him over for breakfast to continue our conversations. Instead, I did some laundry and other household chores to keep my mind off him and what the thought of him had done to my body. After lunch, I headed to the pool since summer was quickly fading away. I was engrossed in a romance, which probably wasn't going to help my aroused condition when I heard a towel drop in the chair beside me. Of course, it was Carson. Hey, beautiful day, isn't it? Yeah, I decided to try and enjoy summer while it lasted. Me too. I will be sad when I can't get my laps in every day. With that, he took off his shirt, jumped in the pool, and started going back and forth, making it look effortless. I had to admit, he had a hell of a body, lean and muscular, well tanned from a summer in the pool. The more I tried to ignore him, the more I found myself staring. He swam for almost an hour straight, almost catching me staring when he climbed out of the pool. I pretended to be engrossed in my book behind my sunglasses as he walked towards me, water dripping off him looking like a Greek god. Thankfully, he didn't stay. Instead, he picked up his towel and shirt and headed back to the apartment. I'll see you later. Enjoy the sun. Oh my God. He even looks good walking away from me. I laid there and wondered where my dreams and thoughts had come from. I hadn't had intimacy in over 6 years and never really missed it. And I never enjoyed it when I was with Raoul. So why am I so turned on today? I decided to take a few laps of my own and try to burn off some energy. Feeling much better, I returned to the apartment, showered and dressed in plenty of time to meet the girls at the bus stop. It had only been a few days since school started, but I already missed having them there with me in the mornings. I was looking forward to the kids' night in the pub and an evening of hearing all about school. I walked down the bus stop and chatted with Linda while waiting for the girls to show up. When they did, the look of joy on their faces made me happy to be a mom. Mom. They were full of news and hugs as we walked back to the apartment. Suddenly, Lily asked me, "Where's Carson?" I don't know why. Because he is supposed to walk us back from the bus stop. Well, maybe since it is my day off, he took a day off too. Mom, you both can walk us back. We have 4 hands to hold. My God, the things that come out of children's mouths. When we got back to the apartment, I made them a snack while they did a little homework. Emily finished early and picked up her phone. Mom, can I invite Carson to go to the pub with us tonight? You guys miss him that much? Yeah, he is nice and lots of fun. I'm not nice and lots of fun? Yeah, but you're our mom. You have to be. It's your job. I guess if you really want to. That made both of them happy. As much as I hated to admit it, Carson had become my new security blanket. I know I will always have someone there for me if something happens, which is probably why he is right in asking for a key. I decided to give him a spare next time I saw him. Oh, he said no. I was surprised. He never has turned down spending time with the girls. I wondered if it was date night. I wonder why? He said it's your day off and we need to give you extra love and time. I was shocked. I hadn't said anything. So how did he know I was missing them more? I decided to invite him myself. The girls usually sat with friends while they were eating anyway. Me. Hey, you're welcome to join us. They usually sit with their friends anyway. Carson. Are you sure I don't want to intrude on your time with them? Me. Yeah, they were upset you weren't at the bus stop. Carson. Okay, just knock when you're ready to head down. Okay, girls, Carson is coming to the pub with us. They both squealed in joy. I was starting to wonder if they liked him more than me. When I knocked on his door, Carson answered, and actually looked like he dressed up a little. Both girls gave him hugs before taking him by the hand. He looked at the girls and nudged them. "Your mom likes holding hands with you too." The four of us walked down to the pub, each holding one of the girls' hands. Linda was walking into the pub the same time we were. "Hey guys, want to join me tonight?" "Sure." The kids knew the drill by now and quickly got their food and joined their friends. Carson, Linda, and I found a table and ordered off the menu. It was a nice, relaxing dinner. Having Linda made it a little less awkward for Carson and I. Linda did keep giving us weird looks like she was trying to figure us out. I needed to assure her nothing was going on between us next time I saw her. Linda left just a little before we did, which gave me the opportunity I needed. Just when we were getting ready to leave, I slid a spare key over to him. "Thanks. Hopefully I won't need to use it." Carson walked us back to the apartment. The girls were still wound up. He always gets down on one knee to give the girls a hug when saying goodbye. Tonight, Lily threw her arms around his neck in a big hug. I heard her whisper, "I love you, Carson." I was surprised by the effect it had on Carson. He closed his eyes tightly, almost as if he was holding back tears, then gave her an extra squeeze. He stood and said goodnight without looking at me, walked into his apartment. The girls definitely had him wrapped around their finger. Hopefully they don't figure it out, or he's in big trouble.